Have you ever thought of buying a franchise or currently own one or many? If so, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria, the podcast created and hosted by franchise attorney Josh Brown for the sole purpose of helping people find success through franchising.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Franchise Euphoria, the podcast created with one thing in mind, and that is to help you find success in the franchise community. There is a lot of information out there on franchising. We hope to provide I don't know if it's the best information, but at least straightforward information. I'll leave it to you whether to decide it's the best or not. But anyways, Josh Brown, your host here, back for another franchise tip of the day. And I want to talk about restaurants again. I've kind of been on a big kick with restaurant franchises. I think part of it is I love food. I'm a foodie myself, and I just love great service, and I love places that really go the extra mile and stick out from above everybody else. You know, it's such a competitive world out there, especially in the restaurant business. And if you are buying or you own a restaurant franchise, you better be thinking about what you're going to do that's going to differentiate you from everyone else. So I've put together 4 ways that you can create raving customers, not just happy customers, but raving customers, because raving customers talk, and they talk to their family, they talk to their friends, they go on social media, and that drives more people to your business, and it drives them back to your business, and they become marketing mouthpieces for you and your business. And I think the number one goal of every restaurant franchise should be to create the raving customers. Well, how do you do that? I think there's really 4 ways that you can do that, and possibly more, but I've kind of limited it down to 4. I think if you implement these 4 things, you will be on your way to creating raving customers. Well, number 1 is you have to pay attention to the details. May seem obvious, but we've all been in situations where you go to a restaurant and the seats are dirty. You go to a restaurant and maybe the table's been wiped down, but it's all wet with all the soapy whatever water and everything. It's kind of like, I mean, that's not a good experience. I mean, a restaurant that takes notice of the details doesn't have those situations arise. And paying attention to the detail does not just mean paying attention to the food. That goes without saying. I mean, paying attention to every aspect of your restaurant. I am absolutely blown away by the number of businesses that don't do that. And maybe they succeed in spite of themselves, and maybe they have been in business for a long time, but they don't have raving customers. And if you want to create a raving customer, I mean, you need somebody who's going to drive out of their way to come to you because they had such a great experience. You need somebody who's going to leave your restaurant and go call 3 people and say, man, I just had the best experience at this restaurant. And I don't care what restaurant you have. You can have a quick service fast food restaurant. You can have a casual dining restaurant. You can have a fine dining restaurant. If you pay equal attention to the details in any of those, you are going to separate yourself from the pack. Number 2 is go the extra mile. Don't just do what people expect you to do. Do more. And, you know, in a restaurant, there's a million different ways you can do that. I mean, you are in the customer service business when you are in a restaurant, and every single patron that comes in, every family that comes in, every person that comes in, you should be asking yourself, how can we go the extra mile to take care of these people. And I would almost recommend implementing something that you do. You know, if you have, for instance, a family that comes in with young kids, have something that you do that's different and unique for those kids, because that's going to make the parents happy. If you have elderly people come in, go the extra mile to take great care of them. Give them a free dessert. I mean, do something that's going to show that they care. And, you know, the thing I always see in restaurants, which is always kind of interesting to me, is that, you know, if the restaurant screws up on something, it goes without saying that the customers would expect either a discount on their meal or a free meal. And a lot of times restaurants feel as though, oh, we went the extra mile. We provided them a discount. We provided them the comped meal. But it's like, well, you screwed up. So of course that's what you're going to do. How about if you do something when it's not expected? And I'm not necessarily saying that it always has to be comping the meal, but something where in the customer's eyes, it says to them, wow, these people are paying attention. These people are going the extra mile to make my experience a great experience. Number 3 is ask for customer feedback. And do it in a authentic and meaningful way. I mean, we've all seen those surveys that, you know, are little cards at a table and you just kind of willy-nilly fill them out. I mean, have your manager, have the owner, have somebody in charge on staff to go and get actual customer feedback. A lot of times just getting people to check off boxes and so forth, you really don't get that much information. You really need to talk to people. And I think you really have to go above and beyond what you typically see, which is a manager or an assistant manager that will walk around and in the middle of your meal just come by and say, hey, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, great. Well, enjoy the rest of your meal. I mean, that's obviously fine. That's nice, but that's kind of expected. That's not going to create a raving customer. Okay. But if you ask for feedback in a way in which you show that you truly and really care, then people will give it to you. And you need to be willing to accept the good with the bad. And in most instances, when you get bad feedback, that's your opportunity to create a raving fan. That's your opportunity to improve upon things so that you can ultimately improve the customer experience. So you need to ask for customer feedback. And the fourth thing that ties into that is you need to listen to the feedback and implement suggestions. Obviously, you can't operate a restaurant willy-nilly and just implement every suggestion that somebody makes. But you really need to show that you care. You really need to listen to what your clientele is telling you. There simply is no better way to gauge how you're doing as a business. There's no better way to understand what your customers are thinking. I mean, think how incredible that is. I mean, people, as an example, in the online space, are always trying to find out what their customers and potential customers think because they're not in front of them. It's online. Here you have a business where your customers are coming in and you have an opportunity to engage them and find out what they really think, find out what you can do better. And when you listen to that and you implement that and find out a way to communicate that to the customer and say, hey, you know, we really took note of what you suggested that we did, and here's what we're doing to do it. That creates raving customers. That creates raving fans, and that makes you stick out above and beyond everybody else. So pay attention to the details, go the extra mile, ask for customer feedback, listen, and implement. If you do those 4 things, you will be well on your way to creating raving customers, and that will go straight to your bottom line. Until next time, happy franchising.
Thanks for being with us today on the Franchise Euphoria podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go to iTunes and provide a review. Also, please remember that although Josh Brown is a licensed and practicing attorney, nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as legal advice, because it is not. The information contained in this podcast is general and educational in nature, and none of it should be relied upon as legal advice. That being said, if you have questions for Josh and would like to contact him, please email him at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next weekly episode.